Hey you all, and good morning. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we're in Rochester, New York. I'm going to be exploring some of Western New York slash upstate New York today. I don't know which one is the best thing to call it. I know that some people in Western New York do not like to be called upstate New York because it makes them feel like they are secondary to the city of New York. By the way, why is the city New York? Why does the city have the same name as the state? That is very confusing, but we're not going to get into that right now. We're in Rochester, New York, which is part of Western New York slash upstate New York. And first of all, I wanted to check out this strange obelisk that we have behind me. So we look over here, we have this obelisk towering over us. This obelisk commemorates the home of the Fox sisters at Hydesdale, New York. We're in Rochester. I don't know if Hydesdale, New York is maybe an extinct town, but it says this is the birthplace of modern spiritualism. So I guess this house here, this is not here anymore. I think we're at Catholic Charities, but yes, commemorates the home, the birthplace of the Fox sisters. The Fox sisters, known by some as the founders of the modern spiritualist movement. This was erected in 1927 by spiritualists of the world in commemoration of the advent of modern spiritualism. Now, spiritualism, in short, is basically the idea, the concept that living people can communicate with the dead, that you can speak to ghosts, spirits, other things that may not necessarily be alive. This commemorates the advent of modern spiritualism, and in tribute to mediumship, which mediumship is people that can communicate with the dead, the rock upon which demonstrable spiritualism forever stands states there is no death, there are no dead. So we here is talking about the Fox sisters. The Fox sisters were a group of sisters that would do seances. They were some of the first to do kind of the modern idea of what a seance was. They would talk to the dead, and the dead would talk back by knocking. You hear knocks in the room when they were speaking to the dead. And they made quite a bit of money doing this, traveling around. They were pretty much revered in the time of their practice. Even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, believed that the Fox sisters were indeed communicating with the dead. They claimed, I know there was a time where they claimed to be speaking to a murdered traveling salesman in a home, and then they later found bones that allegedly belonged to that traveling salesman in the basement of the home. However, the story does take a turn when the sisters, two of the three sisters, came out and said that what they were doing was fake. They said that they were creating noises, the knocks that you were hearing back from the dead people, they were creating by snapping their toe knuckles. They would make knuckle noises with their toes. So they would say, is there a spirit out there? Can you knock back at me? And then they take their little toe and go, ear, 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 and make a knocking noise that people would think was a ghost. So they said that everything they were doing was fake. They apologized, saying that they had caused great harm, caused people to believe in things they should not have made them believe in. But then a year later, they were like, actually, we're kidding, we're totally real. So it was kind of a up and down roller coaster ride for the Fox sisters and their ability to speak to the dead. There's some major celebrities in their time on Earth, and I guess it's up to you to decide if the Fox sisters were real or if they were phonies. And speaking of spiritualism, that looks like a house that would be just full of ghosts. Don't you think? That kind of looks like some sort of haunted house. Spooky to me. So yes, mediums are what you use to speak to people that have passed on, people that have died. But back when I was a child, you used these payphones to speak to not people that were deceased, but to people that were far away, because you did not have cell phones. It's becoming rarer and rarer. It's almost easier to see a ghost these days than it is to see a payphone. So let's see if this works. Okay. No, it's dead. Hello, hello. No voices, no ghosts. Let's see if I hit the buttons. Even if I hit the buttons, there's no noise. So let's say this one is non-operational. The Kodak Company is one of the other things that Rochester is known for. George Eastman, who founded the Kodak Film and Camera Company, actually was from Rochester and founded the company here in Rochester. Now, of course, the history of Kodak, the history of the film and camera company, very fascinating. But one thing that really fascinates me about George Eastman, the founder of the Kodak Company, is how he left this world. And now he chose to take himself out of this world by using a gun to shoot himself with, which I would not recommend for anyone. But one of the fascinating things is his note that he left behind. It simply said, "To my friends, I have accomplished everything I have set out to accomplish. Why wait? George Eastman." We're actually going to head outside of Rochester over to the neighboring town of Leroy, New York, because there's something I wanted to show you guys. And we have landed in Leroy, New York, in front of the JellO Museum. Yes, the gelatinous dessert treat known as JellO was founded here in Leroy, New York, and they have a whole museum about it. So let's head inside. JellO truck there. So we head up the stairs to the JellO Museum. Here we enter the JellO Museum. See the archway here. There's little cubes of JellO alongside the spoon there. And the painting of the little girl eating JellO. Looks like it's got chunks of strawberry in it. Of course, the first question is, what is gelatin? So we look here, it says gelatin is processed collagen, the major protein in the white connective tissue of animal skin and bone. Gelatin makes JellO shimmery, transparent, and moldable. Shows how JellO is made then and now. Now, simply just buy the little box and add sugar. Let it set, make some nice JellO. Back then, you had to use deer antlers and fish bladders to get the collagen out of. And you know, imagine making homemade JellO out of antlers and fish bladders. It would be an interesting project to try. Then you flavor them with these delicious oranges and lemons. It's a recipe book, Dainty Desserts for Dainty People. It's made from Knox's sparkling calf's head gelatin. So dainty people love calf's head gelatin. There's the JellO Girl plaque, America's most famous dessert, JellO. The original factory here from which JellO was made. You can actually see in this advertisement, they show the factory there inside of a JellO mold. Here's gelatin from around the world. You can see the different shapes and formations. This aeroplane JellO right there. It says these are Japanese snacks. A little teeny tiny symbol full of JellO. Here is Canton, a gelatin made from seaweed imported from Japan. You can see these lovely paintings of JellO molds. Here we can vote for our favorite flavor of JellO. Our choices are cherry, strawberry, lime, black cherry, and berry blue. Berry blue only has 22 votes. I think berry blue could use our help. My vote counts. Remarkable recipes. These are different, unusual jelly recipes. There's a savory vegetable salad mold, and that is this up here. There's diced tomatoes, lima beans, celery floating in JellO. I don't know. I know they ate sort of this sort of stuff around the turn of the century. I don't know if that is to my flavor. I don't know if that would be delicious. But I do encourage you guys to make some of these at home, try them, and then tell me how good they are. Over here we have an outfit that a lady would wear in the Jell-O factory. Here's some old school packaging for Jell-O. This is the original Jell-O boxes, and oh no, you've got to be kidding me. Kewpies! Jell-O is sold only in packages like this one, guarded by Kewpies. So all packages of Jell-O are guarded by Kewpies. This is a Civil War Kewpie there, armed to the teeth, even though he is completely naked. Oh my gosh, I was not aware of the connection between Jell-O and Kewpies. And again, I can't explain what Kewpies are. These are Kewpies. These like little baby cherubs. This little Jell-O Kewpie sculpture there. You see the Kewpies actually making some Jell-O. And there's some Kewpies in a child's bed. They are giving the child Jell-O. And what is this? Oh, this Kewpie has a jar of medicine, so they slipped medicine into her Jell-O. I guess that's helpful, but also, I don't know, a little suspect that Kewpies are slipping strange things into your food without you knowing it. Looks like I'm the Jell-O girl right here. You can see the Jell-O brain there, and there's actually a really interesting story behind that, as experiments show that a bowl of Jell-O gelatin and the human brain have the same frequency of brain waves. You can see the EKGs up there, almost identical, matching the human brain, and a bowl of Jell-O. I don't know what this means. Does this mean that Jell-O can think? What does Jell-O dream of when it has its little Jell-O snooze? Seriously, this sounds like the plot of a horror movie. Like maybe, like The Blob? Like The Blob, is Jell-O thinking? Is Jell-O all thinking together? Does it have some sort of hive mind consciousness where it's plotting against us, just waiting for the right moment to leap from its Jell-O bowl and finally take us out and rule the world as our gelatinous overlords? Brain jigglers. Everything you always wanted to know about Jell-O and then some. Which president eats big cherry Jell-O salad for Thanksgiving? Just a guess. Ronald Reagan. Bill Clinton. Okay. What were the first four Jell-O flavors? I think it was lime, cherry, orange, and lemon. Lemon, orange, strawberry, and raspberry. I was a little bit off there. Who owns Jell-O now? Like, I'm just guessing. Like, let's say Nabisco. Oh, no, Kraft Foods. What movie did Bluto snarf an entire plate of Jell-O? Isn't Bluto from, what is that? No, I can't think of the name. Animal House? Yes. Which of these float in Jell-Os? Nuts, prunes, grapefruit, apples, maraschino, cherries, and pears. I mean, you always see stuff floating in Jell-O, so I would say all of them? Nope, just some of them. Nuts float, grapefruit float, apples float, pears float. So what makes certain things float and certain things not float? What do the human brain and the bowl of Jell-O lime have in common? We already went through this. They both think thoughts. They have similar brain waves. Is there any brain scientists out there who can explain this better, how this works? Explain it better than I can. Where was Jell-O born? Here in Leroy, New York. Coffee flavored Jell-O, never sold nationally. But another brown Jell-O did. What flavor was it? Was it chocolate? Yes. Speaking of which, I haven't seen anything about Jell-O pudding pops in this museum. I wonder if there's some reason they don't mention them. How many Jell-O flavors are available today? I'm going to say 8 billion. Or 18 flavors. I would have thought more. Here we have the wall of Jell-O molds. These wonderful different shapes and animals. You can have a Jell-O fish for dinner. You can make your Jell-O out of a clock. I really like the Jell-O lobsters. The Jell-O lobsters. I want to eat a big cherry flavored Jell-O lobster with Thanksgiving. Oh, that makes a little squirrel in your Jell-O. This Zodiac Jell-O right there. Little Jell-O piglet. Oh, here's some fancy Jell-O molds. Make that these big crazy Jell-O towers there. There's some more modern Jell-O molds. There's the King Kong mold. I guess this was made in 2000 to celebrate the millennium. I can't believe that was 22 years ago. That's crazy. Flintstones Jell-O. And I want this, the brain Jell-O, so I can make my Jell-O a brain so I can watch it think about me. United States Jell-O. I have been to all these states. Every state here in the continental United States I have been to. So now I want to eat them in Jell-O form. This mold here is for making little Jell-O beans. You can make little tiny Jell-O beans to eat. Here's the Real Monster Jell-O figures and Power Rangers in Jell-O. And here, in front of the Jell-O sign, we have Christopher the giraffe. It says that he was a part of a traveling circus, and he collapsed and died while the circus was in town. And a local taxidermist was excited to be able to taxidermy a giraffe that he never had an opportunity to do before, but by then the circus had left town and he had a giraffe head. Said it was displayed in a local pizza parlor until the parlor closed down, and then he was donated to the JellO Museum, which he is now happily the JellO mascot. You can see here above the giraffe we have little spoons dangling from the ceiling. Little spoons that you can use to consume Jell-O with. Get a close-up look at Christopher the giraffe here. You can see his teeth. They remind me almost like of a camel's teeth. I wonder if giraffes ever bite people. It does say that Jell-O did use different animals to advertise, and did at one time use a giraffe to advertise. It says up here that when I'm eating Jell-O, I wish I was a giraffe, because Jell-O feels so good when it slides down your throat. And giraffes have long throats for it to slide down, so I guess they love the feeling, the wiggly, slick feeling of Jell-O sliding down their throats. So they just wish that they were a giraffe so they could have that slidey sensation every time they eat Jell-O. They also wish they were a whale so they could eat the most Jell-O in the world. They wish they were a rabbit so they could eat their vegetables in Jell-O. And they wish they were a lion so they could roar for more Jell-O. There's a Jell-O reindeer who has each flavor of Jell-O hanging from his antlers. Some interesting Jell-O items here. Is a Jell-O puzzle. This is Jell-O Barbie. Actually came with a box of Jell-O. Very berry Barbie is the flavor. So Barbie flavored Jell-O. And I don't know if this is Barbie clothes. It was part of Jell-O casual wear. There's Jell-O Classic Fairy Tales, a little book on tape. You listen to Rumpelstiltskin. It's a Jell-O snow dome. And for some reason, snow domes, I have a collection of them. They all slowly run out of water. Where does the water go? I don't know. I don't know what happens to it. Here's a Jell-O mascot, Mr. Wiggle. Look at Mr. Wiggle there. And here is his arch nemesis. This is the villain right here. Sweet Tooth Sam. But yeah, Mr. Wiggle, apparently the slogan was, Mr. Wiggle tastes like candy, but no sugar, so you can eat all you want, anytime you want. So yes, you gobble up as much Jell-O as your stomach can hold. Here are specialty Jell-O spoons with the faces of famous hockey players on it. There's Wayne Gretzky. A little special Jell-O watermelon-shaped bowl there. See all the strange and unusual shapes you can make Jell-O. You can see this like Jell-O cone here, and this tube of Jell-O has a banana inside of it. And it looks like those little cubes back there have animal crackers inside. I don't know that I want to eat crackers embedded in Jell-O. That's a very interesting idea, but I don't know if that would be to my taste. It's a pretty old Jell-O bulb right there. And besides Mr. Wiggle, their other mascot was the Jell-O girl. You can see the Jell-O girl dolls here. Some t-shirts here in the gift shop. It's the birthplace of Jell-O. But this one over here is interesting. They also have the Rough on Rats shirt. It kills rats, kills mice. In the gift shop you can buy little Jell-O molds or actually purchase actual boxes of Jell-O that you can take home and eat. You can't taste or eat any Jell-O here in the museum, but you can buy some here and take it home to eat. You have some Leroy, New York, birthplace of Jell-O license plate frames and a nice little Jell-O welcome mat. Instead of hello, it says hell/o. Little JellO Museum shot glasses. I guess these are for Jell-O shots. Okay, I was just corrected. These are not for Jell-O shots. These are actually to hold Skittles. They do not have anything related to alcohol in this museum. They do have some Jell-O giraffe merchandise. This giraffe here has a interestingly small neck, but you can get a mouse pad with the giraffe talking about the Jell-O sliding down his throat. You can also get pins, colored pencils, and a puzzle. And down these stairs actually have a transportation exhibit. Some old-timey medicine here. It's like the blood and liver remedy and nerve tonic. There's something called mustarine. And I'm not sure what raccoon corn plasters are. And they have something called medicated nest eggs, which I have no clue what that's supposed to work or where you're supposed to put the egg. Here's the Christ bean stringer and slicer. Some beans right there that need slicing and stringing. That way you could sell miracle foods like stringless beans. So yeah, this is the transportation section in here. Some old wagons and carriages, and oh, there's the Leroy, New York cow. If you look at his face, oh, okay, he's got Jell-O there on his forehead. He's got a Jell-O mold as his nose. One of his eyes is cherries. One of his eyes are strawberries. I guess these are maybe some of the Jell-O flavors there. Huh. And I don't know who that is right there. It looks like Mr. Monopoly when he was a young man. There's a penny farthing bicycle. The idea here is the bigger the wheel, the less rotations you have to take to go a far distance. So one rotation of the pedal can go quite a distance. The smaller the wheel, the smaller the distance, and therefore the more pedaling. And then this wheel we use for balance. Of course, they later realized that the variance in sizes of the wheels negatively affected balancing, and they figured that just having the wheels to be the same size, that made it quite more balanced, even though you had to pedal a little more. So yes, do appreciate the delightful Jell-O Museum here in Leroy, New York. And actually, me and my girlfriend Jen had our first date here at the Jell-O Museum, so it'll always have a special place in my heart. But speaking of Jen, we're gonna head back to Rochester and maybe get a little bit of dinner. You see one of those classic mail pouch tobacco barns where they would advertise mail pouch tobacco on the side of a barn. Kind of reminds me of the Rock City barns in a way. But on the other side of the mail pouch tobacco barn, we see there's actually a Jell-O barn. It says, "Welcome to the birthplace of Jell-O, Leroy, New York." So we have come back to Rochester to get some dinner here at Nick Tahou's, which is home of the garbage plate. So the garbage plate, the trademark dish here in the city of Rochester. Now, a garbage plate it is a bed of some items. There's usually maybe some home fries or potatoes, maybe some baked beans. The macaroni salad on the bed, so an interesting bed of food. And they'll put something on top like a burger or a hot dog. Of course, they call it hot dogs hots here in Rochester, and you choose between a red hot, which is a smoked hot dog, or a white hot, which is a unsmoked hot dog. They're called red hots and white hots, which they're not necessarily spicy. That's just the name. The hot is short for hot dog. It took me a while to understand this. So I have had several garbage plates when I visited Jen here in Rochester, so I've tried to become accustomed to the tradition of the garbage plate. But anyways, so we have our bed there. Our bed of maybe some fries, some beans, some macaroni salad, and on top they'll put the meat, the burger, or the hot, and then they put hot sauce on it, which is not hot sauce like Frank's hot sauce or red sauce. Hot sauce is sauce for hots, aka hot dogs. So it is a meat sauce. It is not chili. They will correct you because it is not chili. It is seasoned differently than chili, and that is spread on top. Then maybe you got some onions, some ketchup and mustard, and there's variations. And I've had a lot of garbage plates. I admit, I've become somewhat of a garbage plate addict when visiting the Rochester area. But Nick Tahou's actually invented the garbage plate. In fact, the other places aren't even allowed to call their garbage plates. They'll call them like a trash plate or something similar. But here at Nick Tahou's is the only place that can officially sell something known as a garbage plate. So we're gonna go in and get the original garbage plate. All right, stepped inside here in Nick Tahou's. You can see behind the counter there, this home of the garbage plate, established 1918. Let's get us a garbage plate. There's a cigarette machine repurposed as a candy machine. Some of the history here. It says the garbage plate originally created during the Great Depression to give a large amount of food at a reasonable price. Originally it was called Hots and Potatoes. Look at this. In 2014 it won for best plate in Rochester. Of course it was the original creator of the plate, so I guess it maintains having a good plate. And here we go. Here's our garbage plate from Nick Tahou's. I got with all 4 items for the base: the French fries, the home fries, the baked beans, the macaroni salad, the cheeseburger garbage plate. There's actually a smear of like brown mustard right there, and then that meaty sauce that they call hot sauce, some onions. And what did you get, Jen?
I got a garbage plate.
You got a garbage plate too?
But it was only 2 sides.
You didn't get the 4 sides master plate?
No, just 2.
Now you're from Rochester, but you've never eaten here before.
No, I've never had the OG
garbage plate.
No.
Oh, looks good.
I'm excited.
All right, there we got the delicious garbage plate there. Something I've become very fond of, but finally get to try the OG. Sure, you get a little bit of everything in there, all the garbage. Oh, that is so good. I think my favorite part about the garbage plate, that macaroni salad, kind of ties everything together for me. That, and this is a little different. They put the brown mustard on there. It's so good. It's a good burger. The beans. Beans are served cold. It's cold baked beans here. Some French fries. It's really, really tasty. So how is it, Jen?
It's really good. I'm glad it's not too spicy.
It's not too spicy?
Some of them are too spicy.
You said some garbage plates are like, yeah, sometimes in the meaty sauce is like really spicy. You never know.
The hot sauce.
The hot sauce, which is only hot sometimes.
It confuses you so much.
Because hot sauce means hot dog sauce, because they say hots instead of hot dogs.
White hots and red hots.
It's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
But is that good? How does that measure up to other garbage plates?
I mean, I've only had 1 bite, but I really like it.
Really like it?
Yes.
And yes, I'm officially a member of the Clean Garbage Plate Club. Jen did not eat all her garbage plate.
I did not.
And actually, I ate some of her burger in there. So.
You did.
So Jen, you live here in Rochester. This was your first official garbage plate, because those other garbage plates you ate were unauthorized. How did you like Nick Tahou's? How does it stack up to the other garbage plates here in Rochester?
It was super good. It reminded me of Cincinnati chili.
Yeah, it had like the chili with like the cinnamony flavor in it, like it does at like Skyline Chili or Gold Star Chili. So very good. Definitely loved it here at Nick Tahou's. Although I still think I need to try garbage plates from every garbage plate dispensary
There's a lot.
here in Rochester. Yeah, like everywhere has garbage plates. Everywhere. You said something about garbage plate sushi?
Yeah.
Or did I imagine that?
Sushi.
Okay.
No. They have both like a bowl.
Yeah.
And then they have like the actual like, it's like garbage plate, deep fried, and a sushi roll.
So you can actually get, okay, sushi on a garbage plate, or you can get garbage plate infused into sushi.
Yes.
Excellent, I'm gonna try that sometime. Thank you for joining me here today in the Rochester area. If you like these videos, please subscribe. It'll let you know when new videos come out. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me to you. There's new pins in the Etsy shop. And am I forgetting anything?
I'm
Not sure. All that helps keep this train on the track.
New pen.
There's a new pen in the description in the Etsy shop. All that helps keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in
The bag.